The film begins with Gwen Stacy energetically playing the drums alongside her friends, while reminiscing about her past adventures. Alongside her multiversal escapades and her memorable encounter with Miles Morales, Gwen reflects on her deep friendship with Peter Parker and the strong bond they shared with her family, particularly her father, Captain George Stacy. Tragically, Peter underwent a transformation that turned him into the Lizard, leading Gwen to confront and ultimately defeat him during a school dance. Regrettably, George perceived Spider-Gwen as a killer and launched a manhunt to capture her. Gwen longs for the companionship of Miles and experiences an overwhelming sense of solitude. Following a conversation with her father, Gwen catches snippets of police communications and follows him to a crime scene where the Vulture is wreaking havoc. Notably, this version of the Vulture hails from a Renaissance-era universe, distinct from Gwen's own. Gwen valiantly tries to subdue the villain but finds herself outmatched. Just then, a portal materializes, and Miguel O'Hara aka Spider-Man 2099 emerges, adding his unique skills and abilities to the fray. However, even with his expertise, Miguel relies on his virtual assistant, Lila, to call for reinforcements. In strides the expectant superhero, Jessica Drew aka Spider-Woman. United, the trio successfully brings down the Vulture. Impressed by Gwen's prowess, Jessica suggests to Miguel that she joins their team, but he holds a different opinion. At that moment, George arrives and attempts to apprehend Gwen, compelling her to unveil her secret identity. Despite her attempts to explain, George remains determined to arrest her. Miguel takes action, trapping George, and equips Gwen with a wrist device enabling interdimensional travel. Gwen shares one last glance with her father before embarking on this new journey alongside Miguel and Jessica. In Miles's Earth 1610 universe, he grapples with the challenges of balancing his school life with his responsibilities as Spider-Man. As his parents, Jefferson and Rio, engage in a discussion with his guidance counselor, Miles enters a nearby bodega. Inside, he discovers a supervillain known as the Spot, attempting to pilfer from an ATM using the portals generated by his body. Determined, Miles embarks on a pursuit of the Spot, who proves to be incredibly elusive. Eventually, Miles cleverly ensnares him by utilizing the portals, enabling him to rendezvous with his parents. During the meeting, his parents express disappointment upon learning that Miles has missed 6 Spanish classes, resulting in a B grade. As the conversation unfolds, Miles notices that the Spot has managed to escape, compelling him to abruptly conclude the meeting and give chase once again. Jefferson is also summoned to apprehend the criminal, leaving Rio behind, awaiting their return. Miles tracks the Spot to Alchemax, the place he claims their animosity originated. In the midst of the chaos, Jefferson arrives and becomes entangled in the turmoil until Miles successfully knocks down the Spot. The defeated villain discloses his true identity to Miles, revealing that he was once Dr. Jonathan Owen, a scientist at the Alchemax facility that Miles and Peter B. Parker had previously targeted, the same individual whom Miles had playfully tossed a bagel at. Following the destruction of the Collider by the Spider People, Dr. Owen's body underwent a transformation, resulting in his skin turning white and the manifestation of portal-generating abilities. Seizing an opportunity, Dr. Owen charges towards Miles but ends up inadvertently kicking his own posterior through one of his own portals. Subsequently, Miles, still donning his Spidey suit, engages in a heartfelt conversation with Jefferson, endeavoring to persuade him to allow their son the freedom to explore his potential. Spot finds himself trapped in a realm void of worlds, surrounded by a myriad of portals. His desperate attempts to navigate through them transport him to various universes, including a Lego realm and one where he encounters Mrs. Chen, Peggy Lou, from the Venom movies. Eventually, Spot manages to make his way back to his own universe, fueled by the determination to absorb more energy from colliders in Alchemax facilities across different dimensions, with the goal of bringing Miles down. Meanwhile, a celebratory party is underway in honor of Jefferson's imminent promotion to the rank of police captain. However, Miles is delayed due to his task of picking up a cake. Along his journey, he finds himself compelled to intervene in criminal activities, further delaying his arrival and causing him to miss Jefferson's congratulatory toast. When Miles eventually does make it to the party, Jefferson and Rio express their disappointment, leading to a heated argument where Miles yearns to reveal his secret identity to his parents, yet comprehends the inopportune setting prevents him from doing so. Returning to his room, Miles is pleasantly surprised when Gwen emerges through a portal to pay him a visit. Evidently, his fondness for her is evident through the numerous times he has sketched her in his notebook. Despite being grounded by his parents, Gwen extends an invitation for Miles to join her on an outing. Excitedly, Miles dons his Spidey suit and joins Gwen as they gracefully swing through the cityscape. Pausing at a skyscraper, they hang upside down, with subtle indications that Gwen recognizes Miles's affection for her. However, she points out that in every alternate reality when Gwen Stacy falls in love with Spider-Man, their relationship doesn't work out well for either of them. Together, they return to the party, where Jefferson and Rio encounter Gwen, still harboring some reservations about her. Following Gwen's departure due to her superhero obligations, Rio engages in a heartfelt conversation with Miles, emphasizing his maturation and urging him to prioritize self-care while encouraging him to pursue a relationship with Gwen. Utilizing his invisibility powers, Miles discreetly trails Gwen to a crime scene where the Spot had recently struck. Gwen employs a device to review the incident, revealing that Spot had subjected himself to the Collider's energy, granting him an augmented capacity for generating portals. In the midst of their investigation, Gwen receives a communication from Jess, who discloses her assignment to locate the multiversal anomaly. Overhearing Jess's instruction for Gwen to disregard him, Miles catches snippets of their conversation. Additionally, Jess successfully traces Spot's current whereabouts to an alternate Earth known as Mumbattan. Without further delay, Gwen steps through the portal, and after a momentary hesitation, Miles decides to follow suit, unwilling to let her face the danger alone. Arriving in Mumbattan, Miles finds himself unable to assist Gwen due to a glitch caused by his lack of a universe-jumping device. However, their efforts are joined by Pavitra Prabhakar aka Spider-Man India, who brings his unique set of skills to the battle. Pavitra shares his own version of the customary, "let's do this one last time" introduction, revealing himself as an ordinary high school student dating his dream girl, Gayatri, the daughter of Inspector Singh, who holds a disapproving stance toward Pavitra. Together, they pursue Spot to the Mumbattan Alchemax, where he initiates a fusion with the Collider located within the building. In an attempt to breach the force field hindering their progress, Miles employs his powers to absorb its energy, only to be joined by Hobie Brown aka Spider-Punk, a rebellious rocker utilizing his abilities to shatter the force field. Miles experiences a pang of jealousy toward Hobie, as Gwen has seemingly visited his dimension on multiple occasions. Despite their combined efforts, they fail to prevent Spot from merging with the Collider, granting him more portals while triggering a devastating chain of events within the lab. Additionally, Miles encounters a vision of his father embarking on a mission to rescue a child, prompting Spot to claim that this vision represents their impending future. The quartet of Spider People swiftly rushes outside, dedicating themselves to rescuing the endangered citizens amidst the crumbling building. With remarkable teamwork, they successfully guide everyone to safety, working together to mitigate the damage caused by falling debris. Pavitra's quick thinking enables him to secure a bus carrying Gayatri, even as her father strives to save a young girl on a nearby bridge. In a moment of recklessness, Miles disregards Gwen's pleas and races to prevent Singh's tragic fate, ultimately succeeding in averting his demise. Meanwhile, Pavitra successfully rescues Gayatri. The grateful citizens express their admiration and applause for the heroic efforts of the Spider People. As a portal materializes in the city, threatening to engulf parts of their universe, Jess arrives with her team, prepared to rectify the situation. She informs Miles that he is being summoned to their headquarters. Embracing his newfound allies, Miles accompanies them to the headquarters of the Spider Society, a sanctuary teeming with an array of Spider People from countless universes. Among the assembled heroes are Ben Reilly aka Scarlet Spider, Web Slinger, Margot Kess aka Spider-Bite, Spectacular Spider-Man, Insomniac Spider-Man, as well as the notable appearances of a Spider-Cat and a Spider-T-Rex. Jess equips Miles with a wristband designed to prevent further glitches. Within the headquarters, Miles is granted glimpses of various captured villains from across the multiverse, which notably includes a version of Prowler, portrayed by Donald Glover in a live-action cameo. Furthermore, Miles experiences a heartwarming reunion with Peter B., who introduces him and Gwen to their daughter, May, affectionately nicknamed Mayday, born from his relationship with Mary Jane. Guided to meet Miguel, the leader of the Spider Society, Miles is met with Miguel's simmering anger due to his interference with a crucial canon event. It becomes clear that, in each Spider-Person's respective universe, a police captain's death is destined to occur, often embodied by a version of Captain Stacy. Miles realizes the implications of his actions as he saved Inspector Singh, leading him to fear for his own father's safety. Miguel emphasizes the severe consequences that arise from tampering with canon events. Describing his own experience, Miguel recounts how he had once ventured to a universe where his variant perished, mistakenly assuming that he could take over Miguel's life and family. Tragically, this decision resulted in an anomaly that erased numerous individuals, including Miguel's own daughter. As Miles passionately argues against allowing his father to face such a fate, he finds himself confronted by the other Spider people, who seemingly possessed prior knowledge of the necessity of the canon event. In a tense turn of events, Miguel ensnares Miles in a trap. However, using his unique powers, Miles musters the strength to break free from the confines of the trap, prompting Miguel to dispatch every Spider-Person within his grasp to pursue him. As Miles maneuvers through the facility, he skillfully confronts each Spider-Person, both human and animal, that crosses his path. They eventually reach a train, where a fierce showdown between Miles and Miguel ensues. In the midst of their intense fight, Miguel reveals a painful truth to Miles: his destiny as Spider-Man was never meant to be, as the spider that bit him originated from a different universe. Miguel blames Miles for the demise of his own Peter and for the absence of a Spider-Man in the universe from which the spider originated. This revelation deeply wounds Miles, especially when he realizes that Gwen and Peter B. were aware of this all along, which explains their absence and lack of visitation. However, Miles astounds everyone by unveiling his true plan. He had deliberately led the Spider people away from the tower, utilizing his electric powers to repel Miguel and making a daring leap from the moving train. Returning to the Spider Society headquarters, Miles encounters Margot's lingering avatar. Determined to return to his own universe, he activates a machine that will facilitate his journey. Despite the arrival of Miguel and the other Spider people, Margot intervenes, granting Miles the opportunity to return home. Miguel, in turn, reprimands Gwen for assisting Miles, confiscates her device, and banishes her back to her own dimension. Miguel then assembles Jess and Ben to pursue Miles. Gwen finds herself back in her former apartment, where George resides in solitude. She sees a picture of herself with Miles and is about to go when George awakens and finds her. Gwen confronts her father, expressing her anger at being blamed for her Peter's demise. George confesses that he quit the police force after Gwen's departure. Reconciliation takes place between father and daughter, and George presents Gwen with a device left behind for her by Hobie. They share a heartfelt embrace before Gwen leaps into Miles's universe, ready to reunite with him. Miles seeks refuge in his apartment and is discovered by Rio. With a newfound resolve, he decides to confess his true identity as Spider-Man. However, to his surprise, Rio asks him who Spider-Man is, indicating that she has no knowledge of his secret. Meanwhile, Gwen arrives at Miles's room only to find it empty. It dawns on her that Miles has been transported to the wrong universe, specifically Earth 42, where the spider that bit him originated. Recognizing the same revelation, Gwen musters her determination despite the lingering suspicions of Jefferson and Rio. She assures them that she will find Miles and sets off on her mission. In the unfamiliar Earth 42, Miles unwittingly encounters his uncle Aaron Davis, who is alive in this reality. This revelation confirms that he has indeed been sent to the wrong universe. As Gwen navigates the challenges of her search, Miles joins Aaron on a job and stumbles upon a mural that unveils the tragic fate of Jefferson in this universe. Before he can process this shocking revelation, a figure resembling Prowler emerges and subdues Miles. Regaining consciousness, Miles finds himself restrained in Aaron's apartment, tethered to a punching bag. He attempts to discuss his encounter with the Prowler from his own universe, but Aaron denies any association with the vigilante persona. Their conversation is abruptly interrupted when the true Prowler arrives, unveiling himself as another version of Miles from this universe. Before Prowler Miles can make another move, our Miles begins charging his electric powers, preparing for a decisive escape. Meanwhile, Spot arrives in Miles's universe, intent on targeting Jefferson. Undeterred, Gwen assembles her own team of spider people, including Peter B., Mayday, Hobie, Pavitr, Margot, Spider-Noir, Spider-Ham, and Penny Parker. This formidable team sets out on a mission to rescue Miles from his predicament. We hope you enjoyed this web-slinging adventure filled with multiversal mayhem and a whole lot of Spidey power. Remember, with great movies comes great entertainment. Now, as the credits roll and you contemplate your own superpowers, we all have them, right? We want to extend a huge thank you for joining us on this wild ride. We appreciate your support and hope you had a swinging good time. Stay tuned for more heroic escapades, amazing sequels, and maybe even a spin-off featuring Spider-Cat and Spider-T-Rex, because why not? Until then, keep your Spidey senses tingling. Thanks for watching, and have an amazing day.